Welcome to Beyond My Crisis. I'm your co-host, Ron Rosnick, and I'm with Vivian Gaspar. And today we have Jackie Lue Raia. She's a trustee on the National Association for Multicultural Affairs and Transplantation. Her experience with organ and tissue donation is a very personal one. 8 years ago, her mother, Ina Lue, was killed in an automobile accident. This started her path in organ and tissue donation advocacy. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
A heartfelt intro to hear. Why is this important to you? How did this occur?
That's the whole thing, is that you don't know when this is going to occur. And that's why this is so important for me to come and visit the show today. So thank you so much for having me. It's an unplanned event, always. No one plans to be...
So what happened?
So I just picked up my mom at the airport, and we got onto the highway, and within 10 minutes, a tractor trailer hit us. Thank you so much. Truly, truly the darkest hour of my life, but for the fact that my son, who was 15 at the time, and I both miraculously walked away from that. My mom, unfortunately, did not wake up from that.
So in the darkest hour, you have risen above and you've created something for yourself and other people now. This is your inspiration today.
My mom is my inspiration. There are lots of people who made that happen, though. If it wasn't for the first responders who got to us on the turnpike so quickly and got my mom to a point where she could get on a ventilator and get to a hospital, without that, she would not have been able to be an organ and tissue donor.
I see.
She could have given her tissue, but not her organs.
So the organs must be kept in a pristine condition.
Pristine, beyond pristine.
Beyond pristine.
Yes.
And she had been a donor.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
So I am Chinese, born on the island of Jamaica, and I married a French, Canadian, Italian guy, so the culture in my home is very, very vast. One of the things, though, that we don't do is talk about death and organ donation, and what you want to have happen after you pass away is one of those things that are just not spoken about. So unfortunately, my mom, like a lot of people, would designate herself a donor at motor vehicle. When she renewed her license, she didn't do that, nor did we talk about it. So the unfortunate thing is that we made the decision for my mom.
Oh.
Fortunately, though, because of the way she lived her life, because she was a very, very giving person, would literally give you the last penny in her wallet and the last shirt on her back. When we were in the hospital and she was in ICU, she was on the ventilator, and the doctors told us that there was just no brain function. And had it not been for this machine that was keeping her heart pumping and her lungs breathing, she was gone.
So
that made her an ideal candidate for organ donation. So they approached my family, my 3 siblings and I, and said, "Do you think that your mom would want to save lives?"
Wow.
And we said, "What do you mean by that?" And they said, "Your mom is in a position right now to save many, many other people who are on the waiting list for an organ."
How many other people?
So currently, there's 115,000 people in the United States waiting for an organ transplant, right? Each individual, each donor, like my mom, has the capacity to save 8 people with an organ donation. So the heart, the 2 kidneys, the 2 lungs, the liver, the pancreas, you can save lives with that.
8 people.
That's 8 huge. People. With tissue donation, what we're talking about there is your corneas, your skin, your bone, your heart valves. You can heal the lives of an additional 75. So my mom, on this horrific night, saved 3 people with her 2 kidneys and her liver, and she touched and healed the lives of 43 others.
Wow.
With her tissue donation. So now, just because someone has the capability to donate 8 organs to save other people's lives, it doesn't generally happen that they can give so many organs.
Because it has to be fresh. So
they're all because they're on a ventilator in the hospital. Yeah. But perhaps mom's heart had something wrong with it, or it didn't meet the criteria that the heart surgeon, the transplant surgeon wanted to for a patient that was waiting. So there is some very strict criteria that has to be met, but her 2 kidneys and her liver were good to go, and she saved 3 people.
So do you focus on organ transplantation from people who have died, or people who want to donate one of their own kidneys for a living person?
So we do both. Primarily, though, in my world, what I have been concentrating on is deceased donation.
Okay.
Kidneys make up about 82% of the 115,000 people waiting, and the average wait is anywhere from 6 to 7 years
6 to 7
for someone
years.
who's waiting for a kidney, right? So you've been hearing a lot about this live donation, right, where a living person says, well, I only need 1 kidney. I will give someone, they might know them, they might not know them, I'll give them one of my kidneys. And if it matches, then they can receive the kidney.
Right.
But if it doesn't, they will start these chains. And I want to say the longest chain that I've heard of is about 30 some odd people, where one person says, okay, I want to give, but the person I want to give to, I don't match. So we'll keep looking for a kidney that matches, and we'll start the swapping, if you will.
Yes.
So, but my main concentration is in deceased donation.
Wow, that's an incredible thing. So is there apprehension from people to sign their driver's license card to say, I want to be an organ donor?
Of course,
What's
because
the
that
fear?
solidifies it. I mean, people are afraid, like my family, we're afraid to even talk about it. So the fear is, who wants to talk about that? It's death, it's dying, it's me gone. There's also a disbelief that, or a misbelief, that if something happened to me and they see my driver's license and they say, oh, an organ donor, let's not save her because we need livers and kidneys.
That's something
And
on The
that-
Simpsons or something like that.
But we say that, but all kidding aside, when I speak to the community, that is one of the top 2 reasons why even people in the healthcare industry will say that there is a mistrust, that if a first responder sees that or someone in the hospital sees that, they're not going to take the best
So
care
let's
of them.
say the truth right now. Let's debunk this myth. What is the truth?
The truth is that they have to take better care of you, even though they know that, like my mom, you had no more brain function.
So they have to take better care of you, because if they don't, the organs are not transplantable.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. So when you say pristine, it has to be beyond pristine.
So basically, you're not just crushing the myth, you're actually telling people, if you want to be taken care of even better, you sign that organ donation card,
Yes.
and then you'll be cared for.
Well, the truth of the matter is less than 1% of people who pass away can actually give the gift of organs.
So-
Because of the situation in which it occurs, you have to be in the hospital on a ventilator.
Okay.
So the criteria is very stringent, and so that is why it's so important to share this information with you today, because the more people that we can get to understand that organ donation, it shouldn't be a scary thing. There's really nothing but great things to happen, because you're not going to use them anymore. You're not going to need them
Right.
anymore. Why not give it to someone else who, and it's not just the patient who's waiting, right?
Right.
It is their mom, their dad,
Sure.
their children.
So
be
is there another obstacle? Are people like thinking like, oh, my religion, or I don't want to lose my organs when I'm dead, then I can't be reincarnated, or maybe a DNA something? I mean, is there any?
Religion is a huge barrier. There are some religions that they thought, and maybe 5-10 years ago, in Judaism, for instance, you have to leave the way you arrived, right? So tattoos, piercings, and things like that. Now, in Judaism, it is said to be organ donation and tissue donation is said to be the greatest mitzvah that you can give to anyone. And so now they are one of our biggest champions across the world.
Wow, so a
Yes.
mitzvah is a blessing. So now you've got a large constituency of donors now.
Well, we hope that it gets larger, because even though the great majority, over 96% of people would say yes to organ donation if you ask them, If I were to ask you, 97 or 6% would say, yes, I would want to give organs. Yet, only 54% of people in the United States have actually registered and said yes to donation.
When I do my driver's license, it only happens every few years. So it's not always convenient, or I may not think of it. How can people donate otherwise?
So I'm so glad you asked, because there's a very new way and a very universal way that people can go and donate or say that they want to be a registered donor now. And so it's very simple. As a matter of fact, if you have your iPhone, you can go on right now to registerme.org, and within 2 minutes, you can be a registered donor.
So I just have to take out my phone, my iPhone. I have an iPhone.
Okay.
And go to registerme.org.
Yes.
Okay, and I see this says donate life. Valerie, liver recipient, and there's a button right here that says register to be a donor. It looks very simple. So if I tap that button, if my internet was working. Oh, I see. So just put your name, your date of birth, the last 4 digits of your social, your address, and then submit. That's it. It's one form, takes 2 minutes, and it's just done.
And then what's great about this is that it doesn't expire. I did it. You did it. Thank you so much, Vivian. Thank you. Thank you. You see,
I've done it too.
Okay, so here's the more important thing. You did it. And you did it.
Yes.
But did you tell anybody that you did it?
I didn't.
Okay, so there you go.
Well, we're going to tell people now. I am an organ donor from, and you're okay. So we both are. So please donate. That's what I would like to say.
And my children. Yes. So those who are very close to you, you want to make sure that they know what your wishes are, because there have been issues where you are a registered donor, you're in the database, and the parents say, "Oh no. She didn't tell me that she wanted to do that."
Oh.
You're not going to do that.
So tell your family as well. So as a trustee on this organization, what is your goal? What is the goal of the organization in the next year or 2 years? What's the plan?
Our goal really is to, across every culture, across every human being in the United States, is to have this conversation. Not even so much to go on registerme.org, but to have the conversation with everyone in your circle. To say, if anything ever happens to me, I want to be an organ donor, so please follow through. What do you want to have happen? Right? And then, yes, go on registerme.org. Register to be official organ donor.
That's great.
But that is what we want, because there are 22 people a day dying, waiting for an organ. So that doesn't have to be. But a lot of people have these misbeliefs, or they just don't tell others, and organs are being wasted, lives are being wasted. Wow. And so that's why this is so important.
Super great. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate this message, this really great public service that you're getting around to people. And I would say, just go to registerme.org, fill in your name, tell your family members about it, and just express to them that the gift of life, you can keep giving and giving.